Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel Interesting Avenue. In today's video, we are going to discuss the best video game openings of all time. But before we jump to it, don't forget to click the like button, share, and subscribe to our channel. Here are the video games with the best openings of all time. Number 20. Medal of Honor Frontline. Medal of Honor. Frontline plops you into the middle of those blood-soaked beaches, compelling you to battle for your life while slowly but steadily reclaiming the beach from the Germans. The first 20 minutes of Steven Spielberg's classic Saving Private Ryan, which similarly depicts the horrors of D-Day, are stolen straight from Frontline's opening combat. Number 19. Onimusha 3. Onimusha has Metroidvania-style levels in which players must master new powers and locate vital artifacts that will allow them to explore new places. Following the events of the previous two games, protagonist Samanosuke Eikichi infiltrates a gigantic demon temple in order to assassinate Mori, an undead warlord. Number 18. Super Mario Bros. In Super Mario Bros., the first level is essentially a lesson, but few players will notice. You will learn the basics of jumping, avoiding death, and attacking foes. You learn that if Mario eats a mushroom, he grows larger and gains an extra health point, and that if you find a fire flower, he can learn to throw fireballs. Number 17. BioShock. While the main character, Jack, prepares to hijack a plane, the evocative musical theme from BioShock plays in the background. You cautiously make your way towards a mystery lighthouse after the plane crashes in the middle of the ocean. As you approach the lighthouse, you're met with a giant bust of Andrew Ryan and a sign promising that the world you're about to explore is unlike anything you've ever seen above ground. Number 16. Assassin's Creed 2. The initial few minutes of Assassin's Creed 2 are beautifully tragic and magnificent. Players take on the character of Ezio Auditor, a young, charming Italian assassin who goes on to become one of history's most cruel and deadly killers. You see the events that led to Ezio's change. However, before you can do that, you must race your brother through Florence's rooftops. Ubisoft accomplishes the challenging feat of kicking off Assassin's Creed 2's rich story while simultaneously laying the groundwork for gameplay in a handful of minutes. Number 15. Resident Evil 4. The first chapter of Resident Evil 4 is the polar opposite of Silent Hills, with non-stop action and a slew of psychotic villagers bent on murdering you. The protagonist Leon S. Kennedy comes in a mysterious rural community with no name in an unknown section of Spain. What begins as a leisurely stroll through a charming little hamlet suddenly devolves into a full-fledged war against a mindless and ruthless cult. Number 14. Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Castlevania Symphony of the Night has influenced several games since its release in 1997, from the Batman Arkham series to the latest Tomb Raider reboots. Instead of playing as Alucard, you get to tour Count Dracula's castle as Richter Belmont, which is a startling turn of events. Finally, you'll face Dracula himself in a dramatic and difficult boss battle that perfectly complements Symphony of the Night's gloomy tone and high difficulty. Number 13. Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear Solid takes place 6 years after the events of Metal Gear 2. Solid Snake, following Zanzibarland's demise. Colonel Campbell drags Solid Snake out of retirement and sets him on a mission to eliminate a renegade, genetically enhanced special forces, unit known as Foxhound. The game asks players to silently sneak across numerous regions before approaching DARPA Chief Donald Anderson, and the game's opening cinematic is stunning. Donald Anderson turned out to be Decoy Octopus all along, a Foxhound member who is a master of disguise. Number 12. Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy VII begins with a fast-paced bombing operation with a crew of hardened rogues, as it is the most popular and iconic title in Square Enix's biggest franchise. You take control of a mystery warrior dubbed Cloud, who is on a quest to essentially carry out a terrorist attack on the city of Midgar with the help of his cranky sidekick Barret. The stakes and explanation behind this task aren't completely realized until late in the game, when the game quickly establishes the fundamental conflict in Final Fantasy VII's story. Number 11. The Last of Us. With one of the saddest starts to any game and main character, Naughty Dog sets the tone for The Last of Us gloomy tone. Instead of attempting to climb a falling train in an exciting set piece, you're charged with surviving a zombie outbreak with your young daughter. The first hour of The Last of Us is packed with action, high stakes, and a shocking death rite at the conclusion that serves as a reminder that no one is safe in this world, including the two main characters, Joel and Ellie. Number 10. The Force Unleashed. The opening of The Force Unleashed can only be described as magnificent. The game takes place between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope, at a time when Emperor Palpatine has recently completed the Jedi Purge. Darth Vader is commanded by Palpatine to track down and kill any remaining Jedi across the galaxy. The Force Unleashed begins with its own opening scroll, complete with John Williams' great score, which has become a staple in the Star Wars franchise. You then take control of Darth Vader himself as you see several Star Destroyers make their way to the Wookiee planet of Kashyyyk. Number 9. God of War 3. While the opening ship scenario in the first game and the first combat against the Colossus of Rhodes in God of War 2 are thrilling, Kratos' march towards Mount Olympus in God of War 3 ups the ante. This third entry starts with Kratos riding on the Titan Gaia, while Poseidon tries everything he can to keep you from progressing. As Kratos slashes his way towards Zeus, the first boss fight is a technical masterpiece. Number 8. Fallout 3. The first time you depart Vault 101 is the one thing that most Fallout 3 players remember after hundreds of hours of gameplay. After being nurtured in the protected confines of a vault by your father, you must journey outside to discover, and ultimately, save him once the vault is engulfed in turmoil. In this post-apocalyptic version of Washington, D.C., it's the most normal existence you can have, and suddenly it's taken away from you. Number 7. Uncharted 2. Given Naughty Dog's recent success, it's easy for fans to forget that the studio wasn't always the critical darling it is now. People questioned whether Naughty Dog could pull off a third-person action-adventure game before Uncharted 2, Among Thieves, which had such a massive impact on the gaming industry. Nathan Drake wakes up stranded on a train that is about to crash into a cliff. You must climb your way up the train, wounded and dying, and sneak your way to safety. Number 6. Silent Hill 2. Silent Hill 2 is a chilling story about a man's guilt as he is driven insane by the death of his wife. Silent Hill 2, directed by Masashi Tsuboyama, is widely regarded as one of the best horror games ever developed, and with good cause. Unlike the majority of the openings on this list, which are full of spectacle, Silent Hill 2 takes a different approach, patiently getting under the player's skin. Sunderland begins in an abandoned and run-down public restroom, staring at himself in the mirror, unsure of how this nightmare will end. Number 5. GoldenEye 007 Dam. The first Dam level in the iconic N64 shooter, the finest stage of Rare's finest hour, faithfully recreates the dramatic start to the movie. Before you're immediately shown how to pick up your weapon and unleash it into the faces of unwitting henchmen, you're given a classy classified folder to establish the scene. Number 4. Half-Life: The Train. There is no crowbar. Handheld portal device with no aperture science. Gordon Freeman on his way to work aboard the train. Only Valve could make commuting so interesting. Number 3. Sonic Adventure 2 City Escape. The initial level of Sonic Adventure 2 is unquestionably Sonic's greatest hour, since his Mega Drive days, for titchiness blindingly fast, with just enough platform jumping to act as a middle eight to the tune of Sonic hurtling downhill, and a belter of a soundtrack written by Richard Jack. However, the level is deceiving. In between all of the tarmac skiing and gigantic homicidal trucks, Sega manages to fit in the basics of the game's controls. Number 2. Devil May Cry 3. Then there's the best Devil May Cry in the series, and that's not an opinion. It's scientific fact. You don't have to look it up. You could just take my word for it. Its opening sequence is a big part of how it got to this point. We hear an opening narration from a character, who eventually shows out to be Lady, who gives some information on the Sparta mythology. During this time, we notice 2 white-haired adolescents, who turn out to be Dante and Virgil, engaged in a fierce sword duel. Number 1. Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver. Vampires, drama, a wonderful soundtrack, and stunning vampire architecture are all present in this opener. This introduction has a lot to unpack, yet it's only 3.5 minutes long. We learn that Raziel and his brethren are roughly 1,000 years old, that Kain is easily enraged, and that Raziel is a revenge vampire, or wraith, at the time. Alright, that's it for this video. Let us know your thoughts about this in the comments below. Thank you for watching.